We need proof of life right now from Senator Mitch McConnell. The Republican senator, I was able to tell you yesterday, based on a source we have, has supposedly been unconscious for more than 3 weeks since he went to the hospital. Some people are using the term brain dead. Others are saying on life support. I can't speak to that, but our source says he has been unconscious since going to the hospital. His staff has never said what medical condition he is suffering from or in what way he is recovering from it. They just go, he's recovering. Now, meanwhile, because of our reporting and that of a few others, all sorts of people have started to say, no, I spoke to him, he's doing really well. Scott Jennings from CNN is one of those people. My question is, what exactly did Mitch McConnell say? They're all saying, I spoke to him for 20 minutes and he's recovering well. We need more information. And it is now time to do what Donald Trump was able to do when there were concerns as to whether he was alive. Remember that there were times where Trump went missing 5, 6, 7 days, and then very soon he would appear on camera. It is time for whoever is in charge. Remember, McConnell's wife weirdly went to China 3 days after McConnell ended up in the hospital. It's all bizarre. Whoever is with him, you can very easily prove that he is alive. And this is becoming an issue of significant national importance, as one of 100 of the most powerful political figures in the country is MIA, and we don't have any idea what's going on. So it is time for proof of life.
All the rumors about him being dead or brain dead or, being his body's being hidden somewhere. I've seen all kinds of crazy things on the internet. That's obviously not true because he picked up the phone and called me, and that was a good thing.
You spoke with Mitch McConnell today. What did you talk about? What did he say?
We talked for about 17 minutes. He talked a lot about the situation with Iran, talked a little bit about Ukraine and what's going on in Europe.
Did you come away feeling like he's still capable of serving the people of Kentucky as senator?
I came away feeling that he was staying on top of the news. Again, look, his condition and why he's in the hospital or when he might come out or look, that's.
Do you know why, and are just saying it's not at liberty to share?
I do not know why.
According to Laura Loomer, Mitch McConnell is allegedly brain dead. Let me show y'all what she posted. If you don't know Laura Loomer, by the way, she is like a conservative activist. She is an absolute nut, but she is very plugged in with Republicans and that fraction of the party. Anyway, she posted today, new high-level source close to the White House tells me Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead. He's not coming back. And then she made another post saying that his wife is in China right now and basically questioning why his wife is not by his side. And then another reporter on a Hill piggybacked off of Laura Loomer's post and said, I have heard the same thing from my sources for days. At this point, I am at the hospital for when they eventually decide to move to cut him off life support and move his body. His Capitol Police detail is still here as of 3:39 p.m. Eastern Time. None of this has actually been confirmed by any major news sources, but it's not the most surprising piece of news. Mitch McConnell has been in a hospital for 3 weeks at this point. That is a very long hospital stay for someone his age. We have not heard any sights of him. The statements that his team has been putting out about his hospital visit have been very vague. And TMZ reported that when he was rushed to the hospital, he had been found unconscious. So all of the signs don't look good and seem that this is probably extremely probable. So we'll stay tuned if any official news comes out.
Got more Mitch McConnell stuff. Apparently, there's this coordinated campaign and all these people on the right to say they talked to Mitch McConnell, but it was only for 20 minutes. And what did they not say? That he responded or talked back. Look at Scott Jennings. By the way, I just got to say, he's a total scumbag. With that, look, it's the same thing. Multiple members, whether it's John Thune's staff, Jennings, there's others out there too. You keep seeing this. We spoke to Mitch McConnell for 20 minutes and talked about all this stuff. And by the way, he just went, talking about all this political stuff, very complicated, like Ukraine and what's going on the international stage and politics, elections. And I'm like, bro, even if he's awake, he just went through a severe medical situation. And on his best day, okay, let's just say Mitch McConnell is not talking like Usain Bolt type speed, all right? The guy was already kind of a mannequin, or whatever you want to call it, a totem pole. And now this? Come on. Can you imagine if this shit is actually a conspiracy to just lie, and they're all doing it, they should all go to prison. I mean, they should go to prison like 85 times for all kinds of other stuff. But still, this is literally like some clown shit. They're all claiming they spoke to him. Ain't nobody saying he's talking back. And Mitch McConnell's office ain't saying, when he's asked if he's brain dead, they didn't say no. Usually you would say no. There's actually a rule of evidence on that. If you don't respond to a question that would require a response, you're admitting it. Really weird.
So Senator Mitch McConnell is apparently very ill. Now, before I go any further, I want to make it plain that while I'm no McConnell fan, I certainly hope that he will be okay. And I'm praying for his recovery and, more importantly, praying for his soul and his spiritual health. Now, with that being said, there are some questions that need to be asked about Senator McConnell. First and foremost is this: why is he still in the Senate? Now, I'm not saying this because he's gotten sick. I'm saying this because he should have recognized the fact that his age and health could likely prevent him from properly carrying out his very important duties to the American people as a senator, and as such should have maybe stepped down and allowed the seat to be filled by someone younger and healthier. But yeah, no, we don't do it like that in D.C. anymore. We're not followers of George Washington's example anymore. The whole goal now is to get elected, get rich, get reelected, and then hold on to power and your seat with a death grip. McConnell is a sad example of that and what's wrong with D.C. He's part of the generation of American elected officials who no longer see themselves as public servants, but consider themselves as royalty almost. And you can make any argument you like, but McConnell should have stepped down years ago, and lots of his colleagues should have as well. And secondly, why did McConnell's wife go to China to meet with the Chinese vice president there? You know, that relationship has always been very questionable, and it's even more so now. You know, to me, it just, I don't know, it smells like money, maybe. And finally, why so much secrecy about McConnell's actual condition? Are they holding out till the SAVE Act is actually dead? Again, I can't say for sure, but the whole thing absolutely stinks to the depths of D.C. hell.
Hi, I'm an ICU nurse, and I just wanted to chime in on the whole Mitch McConnell situation, because the fact that they are playing in the public space the way that they are is wild. What we know is on June 14th, EMS was called for an unresponsive person, and they were performing CPR after a cardiac arrest. If you work in healthcare, then you know that the percentage of ROSC in the field for, I don't recall if this was a witnessed arrest or unwitnessed arrest, but regardless, CPR in the field automatically brings your percentage of life down. We already know this man was clearly suffering from medical conditions. He was passed out, went unresponsive on live television, all the things. So we clearly know he has some sort of medical history, and he's 84 years old. So as a nurse, we know that this patient is intubated, sedated, they're on tube feed, they're on probably pressors. Who knows why he had a cardiac arrest? He could be in cardiogenic shock, he could be in septic shock. We have no idea why he had the arrest. At least where I work, you're only going to be on the vent for 2 weeks max before we're now talking about trach and peg. If you know anything about a trach and a peg, you immediately know that the quality of life, very, very low quality of life. We also don't know if he received high quality CPR. We don't know if this was somebody who was CPR trained giving CPR. We don't know how long his brain went without oxygen. And so neurological function, TBD. Also, being admitted into the ICU, each day, I believe they say, like, gives you 3 days of rehab, 2 to 3 days of rehab. Especially somebody at his age, you're not going to get discharged from the ICU home. Like, he's not going back to work. What's going to happen is, if not already, they have placed a surgical hole in his trachea, and they placed a feeding tube in his abdomen. And he's probably going to a facility that manages ventilators. But given the fact that he's a high-profile patient, they probably still have him on the ventilator. And who knows if he's obtained ventilator-associated pneumonia, who knows if he's gotten DVTs, who knows if he has bed sores. The list goes on and on and on about the things that a patient can acquire while in the hospital setting, despite nurses' efforts to Q2 turn, to suction every 2 hours, oral care, et cetera, et cetera. The quality of life is not going to be what it was before. And we already know before it was not well. And in the real world, let me miss work for 3 days. I don't have a job. I don't have a job to go back to. No call, no show, it's over. So the fact that they are withholding information and not even giving an update as to his status, there's videos on here talking about he's texting. If you've ever been in the ICU and if you ever try to communicate with a patient that is on the ventilator, I had to move in my garage because the sun is baking. But what I'm saying is Mitch McConnell is circling the drain, if not, is in the drain. And shame on the government for not providing us citizens with an update or reassigning his duties to someone else. The lies just proves why people don't trust the government.
So Mitch McConnell is dead. And the MAGA army is working overtime right now to cover up his death just until August 3rd. Why, you might ask? Because if Mitch McConnell is claimed a dead man before August 3rd, Kentucky, his congressional district, is going to have to hold a special election. And it's very, very likely that the person who would win that special election would be a non-MAGA loyalist Republican, which means that MAGA would lose a seat and they would have somebody that they can't control in a Republican seat talking shit about Donald Trump and his MAGA army, and that won't do, will it? So here's the tea on what's going on with Mitch McConnell and his dead body, because this is outrageous. This 83-year-old man went into cardiac arrest, okay? We don't really have very many details other than that it was cardiac arrest and that his heart was not beating when the medics arrived on the scene. I saw a nurse on here talking about this, and she said that the likelihood of somebody 83 years old, which I think is how old he was, recovering from cardiac arrest at all is lower than 5%. I don't think that he's making it. And if he does, and if he did, he wouldn't be recovered in 3 days. Now, why would he be better in 3 days? That's a ridiculous thing to say, right? Because his wife, who has the power of attorney over him, while he is currently plugged up to a wall and on life support, brain dead, fled the country and went to China 3 days after he went into cardiac arrest. Why would she go to China? Honestly, I don't know why she chose China. She's apparently having a meeting with the vice president of China that they said was very important and long-standing. We've had this trip planned for a long time. It was for my family's charity, and I have to go. 3 days after your elderly husband went into cardiac arrest? She's trying to tell everybody that she left because he was basically cleared. I don't think there's ever been an 83-year-old man who went into cardiac arrest and made it, much less if they made it, recovered well enough in 3 days to not need help from his spouse. What? So unsurprising, just like a really bad MAGA lie situation. But they're doing all of this to make sure that they get a MAGA seat in Congress to replace Mitch McConnell. But y'all, here's the thing. It's really, really hard to keep a dead body alive for like 3 weeks. He might have blood running through his body. He might have air going through his lungs. But what happens to a body when it's in that state on a table like that, plugged into a wall? It starts to decompose. So this man is rotting on a table right now, and everybody is trying to tell us that he's alive. It's totally crazy. I mean, this is clearly all extremely illegal, and it seems like a crazy conspiracy theory, but it's real, and it's what's happening. And it's official. Our government is completely and fully corrupt, and they're hiding the death of Mitch McConnell, little turtle man. Unfucking believable. Our government has been completely hijacked by a bunch of fucking criminals.
Are we surprised that Republicans are trying to keep this man's death, their beloved Mitch's death, withheld from the public just to hold on to the little bit of power that they have left while they have it? I could tell you all that I'm definitely not surprised. And I've been actually hearing about this for the past couple weeks. Of course, like everything lately, I've been seeing this trend on Threads for the past couple weeks. It probably mid-June, I guess, around the time that the medical event, quote unquote, happened. That's when I started to see people post about it. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought, like, hey, he had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. They're just waiting to see when he was going to be getting out. I didn't even know until about a week later that it was this mystery behind, like, his condition. And then I come to find out that he is allegedly brain dead and is on a ventilator. It's been so many stories that have been circulating. So now we come to this week where it's 3 weeks later from when this allegedly happened. I guess we shouldn't say allegedly. I think the medical event has been confirmed. I don't know. I feel like I've heard heart attack, stroke. I don't know. I guess we don't really have the details as per why they're keeping it a secret, right? They are going to try to keep his death a secret so that they won't have to put his seat up for a vote. Anyway, when you really go to look at it, I don't know. And I'm not trying to be ageist. I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone. But looking at the ages of a lot of these people in Congress, I honestly, truly think we should have term limits. To me, there is no reason why an 84-year-old person should still be making decisions on the government. I'm sorry, that is just my opinion. Just from what I've heard different creators talk about and what I've seen on social media like Threads and TikTok and everything, this man has been in Congress, or at least a senator. I don't know if he started out as a representative and then became a senator. I forgot what was mentioned. He's either been in the Senate or in Congress in general since before I was even born. I just feel like that is unacceptable to me. I am so sorry. And I'm going to have some of the ages of the people in Congress, like Chuck Grassley. I can't believe this man is 92 years old. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, y'all, but like when I saw some of these ages, like Bernie Sanders, I did not realize Bernie Sanders was 84 years old. It may just be me being naive, but I don't know why I thought Bernie was maybe in his early to mid 70s. I had no idea he was around the same age as Joe Biden. I'm going back to Chuck Grassley, 92 years old. I think he entered Congress right around the time my brother was born, and my brother is 7 years older than me. It's just, I just feel like that is unacceptable. That's the 80s. People that were elected in the 80s are still holding the power in 2026. There's something about that power a lot of these people like. It's just so weird to me because these people were making decisions in the government and holding power when my parents were my age. And now I'm actually my age and these people are still making decisions for the country. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound offensive, but this is just my opinion. I just feel like a lot of these people are just too old to be in office. And I know I'm not keeping it just with Republicans. I didn't even realize too, I'm going to speak about Democrats as well because I feel like it should be for everyone. I did not realize Maxine Waters is 87 years old. Nancy Pelosi, I think when she left office, I don't know if she's 85 now or if she was 85 I think she's 85 now and maybe was like 80, 81 when she left office. That is just too old, yo. I'm sorry. Like I'm not saying that people in their 70s, 80s and in Chuck Grassley's damn case, early 90s. I'm not saying that they don't have the wherewithal to make decisions and are not competent enough to do their job. But I just feel that this is just people holding on and wanting to wield power for way too long. And I just do not agree with this. I'm so sorry. Like, I feel like we should enact like a 3-term limit for people in Congress. If we have it for presidents, we need to have it for Congress people. Like, this is just too old. I mean, these people have held the office for generations. It just does not sit right with me. And the fact that people are literally on their deathbed trying to hold on to power. Just like a few years ago, Dianne Feinstein Feinstein, I'm not sure how you pronounced her name, but she was literally in a wheelchair. Not saying that you can't be, disabled and still serve. But I mean, she died in office. At least in her case, she was going to resign, but she just died before she was able to. And I think she was 90 years old. That is just too long. It's great the people that are doing well for their constituents, keeping them in mind. But there's something about this that just makes me feel like there's a money hungry and power aspect to this. No matter what side you're on, I get it. You could love your job. You could love serving and helping the people. But I feel like you could do that as a private citizen after a while, and you could still stay engaged in like government and your state government as well, or even local government. But yes, that's my little rant on that. It's just crazy. And also, let's bring this even into more perspective. Okay, Chuck Grassley, 92 years old. He's the oldest member of Congress. Get this. There is a Gen Z, and I've heard about him. There's a Gen Z representative of Florida, Maxwell Frost, is 29 years old, born in 97. Chuck Grassley was already serving 20 years in Congress when he was born. So get it, from 29 to 92, that's a palindrome. I just don't think that is acceptable. I really feel like hopefully within the near future, we could start enacting term limits, because in my opinion, I just do not feel like people that are older than my parents should still be like governing over people that are, young teenagers and about to be young adults. Like people that could be their great grandparents are still serving in our government. Anyway, getting back to old Mitch, is that I have a conspiracy on this, and I actually think that I think this was just a cover up all along. And this is just my opinion, alleged. I have no proof. This is just something that I could see happening. I feel like they tried to, because I think it's a known thing that they tried to do CPR on him, because I think I've seen something about like a 911 call where the EMS was trying to administer CPR on him. I think he was already dead at their house or wherever they went to go get him. They brought him to the hospital. I think the wife made calls to the people she knows in Congress, and they advised her and tried to probably convince the hospital and the people who are taking care of them, probably some under the table money, to keep this on the hush hush. Call me crazy, call me being dramatic, but that's just what I think, because Republicans will definitely try to cover stuff up to continue keeping their power. It looks like this has been happening a lot lately, because there was this guy, and I found out about this on Reddit. There's this representative from New Jersey named Tom Keene, and he's been gone from Congress and hasn't voted or been present for the past few months. And all of a sudden he comes out and says that, he was undergoing treatment for depression. Now he's just 57, just from what Google says, but I don't know if I believe that. But there is a Democratic representative from Florida, again, Frederica Wilson, who has missed 57 roll call votes this year, and it was due to an undisclosed medical issue. I wish they would say. There was another Republican representative, Kate Granger, who was still holding her seat in the House of Representatives, but she was in a nursing home, low key, for dementia. And this is what I'm saying. People are, especially the people on their side, trying to hold on to power, knowing they are physically and mentally unable to continue serving. And the family had to come out and say that she was in a nursing home, or at least going there at some of the time, or maybe I'm assuming she must have just stopped showing up to DC to vote. And the family had to come out and confirm it. So see, it's just something about power that these people just want to hold on to. And I get it. I know not everybody is motivated by money in Congress. of them truly just want to help out the people. But like I said, I just honestly feel that it's time to put term limits on the table. It really is. But of course, are they going to ever vote for it? Because it pertains to them. So I just don't ever see it passing. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And oh, before I forget as well, there's actually, I'm sure maybe you guys have heard about this, but there's actually a Twitter account called "Is Mitch McConnell Dead Yet?" Like when I saw this a couple weeks ago, I about fell out that this account existed. I think it's been probably a few years, because the screenshot that I have, I don't know why it's showing things from 2023 and 25, but I don't have Twitter, y'all. So I'm lucky that I was able to even get this screenshot, because y'all know Twitter, they always want you to log in and create an account, and I wasn't going to do all that. But yeah, it exists, and every day from what I've seen on other people's posts on social media, it literally just says no. I don't know. Now lately it's kind of been not sure yet. So it looks like somebody's, well, a lot of people are counting down to when they announce it. And I just think it's absolutely insane that Scott Jennings is trying to use this as clout and to try to cover for the Republican Party, because I guess he is from Kentucky as well. And think about this. If you are recovering in the hospital, think about this. If you are thankful to be alive, let's just say that he is just recovering, but it's taking a while to come out of the hospital. Do you think you're going to spend 20 minutes on the phone with your good friend talking about Israel and Ukraine? Like, make it make sense. You could have at least, if you're going to lie, you could have at least said, oh, we just talked about like how he's doing and like how he's feeling. You could have left it at that. That would have at least sounded believable, even though no one really does, because there's too much proof in the fact that we're not really having any answers to lead to the fact that he probably is unconscious and he's just on life support. But I just find that really interesting. And he's going 10 toes down on it too. He posted about it on Twitter as well. I'm like, who believes you? But of course, we know who does. It's Republicans, or at least MAGA Republicans, who believe probably all of this is just BS to create like more distrust and some one thing to blame Trump about or whatever. It is what it is. If they're being secretive about it, if his wife is going to China while he's hanging on to dear life, none of this makes sense. I mean, whatever does with them, but this man actually is sitting here on live TV trying to convince viewers that he actually spoke with him. It's really insane when you think about it. But of course, again, not surprised. Yeah, you guys, another day, another cover up by Republicans. That's all I have for y'all today before I keep on rambling. So if you made it this far, you know I appreciate you as always. And if you found any value in this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video, because that would really help to grow the channel. And it's free. One of the last things you have free in America especially. So why not take advantage of it? Let me know what y'all think about this down below. Let me know your thoughts. You know I want to hear it. And with that, I'm going to catch you all in the next video. Bye. See you later.